All right, hi everyone. So today we're going to work on the second half of quadratic functions and transformations. So yesterday we worked on picking up and moving our parabola left, right, or up and down, vertical stretch, vertical compression, is it upside down? And we saw the relationship between the vertex, max min, and the transformations. So we're going to try and work through the algebra part of this. So that was looking at it in terms of transformations. Today we're going to look at it in terms of like the meat, like doing some actual math instead of just looking at it. So let's review. So remember, our original equation is y equals x squared, and our transformed equation, or vertex form, is y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. So remember, h and k are the easy ones. They're the left-right movement. Okay, so this moves left-right. K moves up-down. Okay, and remember, left is when it's positive, right is when it's negative, up is when it's positive, down is when it's negative. Okay, A is the width. This is the width. Okay, so you have your stretch and compression there. Okay, so let me see if I can get that word in there. Stretch, compression. Okay, and it's also, okay, whether you're upside down or right side up. So if A is less than 0, it's a reflection. I'm running out of room. I should have given myself more room. If it's greater than 0, okay, it's positive, it opens up. So this is down. I like to call it opening down, and this is up. Okay, so keep in mind that there's a relationship here, that your movement left-right and your movement up and down give you your vertex, so this is h and k. That the axis of symmetry is always the x-coordinate, so x equals, is because it's a line, h. Your max, again, would be when a is less than 0, and your min is when a is greater than 0. Think of it as opening up, there's a low point, so that's a min. When it's upside down or reflection, there's a high point, that's your max. So we're going to graph from vertex form. So in other words, we're not just looking at the graph, and we're not just taking the original and moving it around. We're going to be given the vertex form, and I want you to graph from that point. So to graph a parabola, when I was a kid, I thought it was parabola. Basically, we're going to graph 5 points. All right, so let's see how we're going to do this. So here's our example. So 2 times the quantity x minus 2, quantity squared minus 4. Okay, we're going to find the vertex. So that's the h and k. So this is going to be 2, 4. Okay, so I'm going to graph that. Okay, so over 2, up 4. Oh, wait, did I supposed to go down 4? Yes. Duh. This is negative. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is negative 4. Here we are. Okay, so there's our vertex. I'm going to give it a little v. All right. Okay, so plot and label the vertex, and now we're going to find our axis of symmetry. So remember, our axis of symmetry is going to be x equals the x-coordinate of our vertex. So x equals 2. So here's my axis of symmetry. Okay. All right, now, we know it opens up, just to remind, because A is positive. See, there's our positive A. So we know that it's opening up. And that's going to be helpful, because if we screw up our points and it's not going in the right direction, we're going to conflict. So we're going to pick an x value. Okay, and then we're going to find the corresponding y. And then we're going to graph that, and then we're going to mirror it across our axis of symmetry, and that gives us 2 points. All right, so I'm going to pick an x. Now, if I'm looking at my vertex, I'm going to pick a point that's on either side of the x-coordinate of our vertex. So I'm going to pick 1. You can also pick 0. You can also pick 3. You can pick 4. You can pick negative 10 million, but keep in mind you're going to have to graph it. So I'm going to try and pick points that are on either side of our axis of symmetry and our vertex. So I'm going to pick 1. So I'm going to pick 1. So I'm going to go x equals 1, and I'm going to put it into the equation. Okay, there we go. And we do the math. So it's 2 times negative 1 squared minus 4. Keep going. So negative 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. So 2 minus 4, we're going to get negative 2. So I'm going to plot that. So 1 is at -2. And I'm going to mirror across. There he is. There's my coordinating point. All right, so we're going to need another point, so I'm going to pick another x. I'm going to go with 0, because that's over here. So we're going to pick another x, and we're going to find another y. So I'm going to pick x equals 0. So y equals 2 times 0 minus 2, quantity squared minus 4. And again, it doesn't matter what values you pick for x. I don't care. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to do the computation, so you want to pick easy points. So this is 2 times -2 squared minus 4. So -2 squared is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 4 gives me 4. So I'm going to go over 0, up 4. Okay, there it is. And then I'm going to go across, 4. Okay, so now I'm going to play connect the dots. And here's our parabola. There we go. Okay, our U-shaped graph. Now, things that we want to kind of like talk about, is this a min or a max? It's a min, because it opens up. Okay, let's talk about domain and range. All right, so domain, remember, is what goes in for x. Okay? All right, so x values. Think about, can I put this in? Can I put that in? Can we put in negatives? Yes. Can we put in positives? Yes. Can I put in fractions? Yeah. Can I put in decimals? Yes. Can I put in like the square root of 7? Sure. Ugly number, but yeah. Okay, which means that our domain is everything, so we can write it as all real numbers. Okay, and then we can express it several different ways. So this is in words. You can express it in what is called set notation. So this is this weird funky R, meaning the set of real numbers, and with the braces. Or you can do it in interval notation. Now, interval notation basically means that what are the numbers you're using? Well, I'm using from -infinity to +infinity. And that's what we mean by interval notation. Let's talk about range. Okay. What kind of answers are we getting out? Well, I'm getting numbers like here. Problem is I'm not getting anything below. Remember, range is y, guys, so I'm only going up. So I'm only getting values that are greater than or equal to -4. Those are where my answers are. I'm not getting -5, I'm not getting -10. Okay, so that's my range. So we can say y is greater than or equal to -4. You can say all real numbers and do it in words. I'm running out of room again. Or we can do interval notation, which is there's a bracket for equal to. We're starting at -4 and we're going into +infinity, and then I'm going to use a parenthesis. Brackets mean equal to, parentheses just mean not equal to. Okay, it's new stuff, so take a minute, make sure you're okay. All right, let's do another one together, okay? All right, so here's our graph. Okay, so let's start with our vertex. Okay, so we'll pull it out. It's going to be 3, 7, because that's h and k. So I'm going to come over to my graph, and I'm going to plot over 3 up 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we are. Give it a little V for vertex. Okay, now we need our axis of symmetry. Okay, so it's always the x coordinate. X equals 3. So I'm going to come over here. I always like to use colors. And we're going to draw a vertical line. It's always vertical, because otherwise it's not a function. Here's my axis of symmetry. All right, so now what we need to do is come up with a couple of points. Okay, so points. So I'm going to pick values that are on either side of our axis of symmetry or on either side of the vertex. So I can pick, I don't know, 2. So if I put 2 in, I'm going to make a little chart. So if I put 2 in, what's my answer? So 2 minus 3 is -1, -1 squared is 1, -2 times 1 is -2, -2 plus 7 is 5. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to plot over 2 up 5. Okay, now again, mirror image across. It's always across. Okay, all right, so let's pick another point. I'm going to pick 1. Okay, so 1 minus 3 is 2, 2 squared is 4. -2 times 4 is -8. -8 plus 7 is -1. So I'm going to plot that. Over to 1 down -1. Again, I'm going to go across. There it is. Now I have enough to play connect the dots. And again, I'm not a computer, so that's pretty much okay. Best graph. Now again, is this a max or a min? Well, it's the highest point, so that makes it a max. Okay. And again, it should be the same as this guy. All right. So negative means upside down, reflection over dx, which means it's a max. All right. So let's talk about domain. What values should you be able to put in for the parabola? Anything. Again, you have your choices on how you want to write this, all real numbers. You can write it in set notation, or you can write it in interval notation. Okay, let's talk about range. In fact, before we get to talk about range, we should see that this is the theme for domain. For every single parabola, the domain is always all real numbers. That's never going to change. Range, though, is based on where your max or min is. So notice that this is a max, and we're going opening down, which means that I'm looking at y values that are lower than our y value. So it's 7. So our range is going to be all real numbers less than 7, less than or equal to 7. Okay, that's one way. You can write it in set notation. Y is less than or equal to 7. You can write it in interval notation. So we're starting, all our values are negative infinity, but we're only going up to 7. So that's how we would write it. We would stop at 7. Okay, now there's 2 more here to practice, and we can check our answers when we see again. So when I see again, so we can check these 2 as well. Because I want to move down to how we're going to use this to get a better idea of writing the equation with given the graph. Because we were wondering, like, that A thing is killing us. All right, so the first thing, again, this is our form. Y equals A times the quantity x minus h quantity squared plus k. There it is. So we can figure out h and k. So right now I know y is equal to, here's my vertex. So it's 1, 4, 1, negative 4. So x minus 1 quantity squared minus 4. And we got to figure out what a is. So what we need to do is pick a point. So we're going to pick another point. I'm going to pick this guy. Again, I would want to pick something that's pretty easy, so I want to find something where it crosses the x-axis. So that's 3, 0, which means I'm going to put, so there's my point, 3, 0. I'm going to put 0 in for y, 3 in for x, and I'm going to solve for a. So 0 equals a 3 minus 1 quantity squared minus 4. Let's do some math. So this is 2 squared minus 4. Keep in mind, guys, people have a tendency to do really bad math here and not use the order of operations correctly. So let's not do that. Okay. All right. So this is 0 is equal to 4a minus 4, add 4, so 4 equals 4a. So a is 1. Okay? All right, so our equation is y equals 1. You don't have to write the 1. X minus 1 quantity squared minus 4. Okay, now that makes sense. It's positive, which means we're opening up. Yes, that's the way we're going. And we can see that from our vertex, we go over 1, up 1, we get to another point on the graph. Okay? All right, so let's try this one. Same idea. Okay. We're going to start with our vertex. So that's negative 2, 4. So it's going to be x plus 2 plus 4. Okay, I'm going to pick a point. Oh, look at this. It goes through 0, 0. I love 0, 0. So we're going to put 0 in for y and 0 in for x, because those are the easiest. That just makes our life easier. Okay, so we get 0 equals a 2 squared plus 4. Again, so we're going to get negative 4 equals 4a. I skipped a step there. So negative 1 equals a. So we're going to put negative 1 in for a for our equation. So it's y equals negative 1 x plus 2 quantity squared plus 4. All right, so that makes sense because it's upside down, so it definitely should be negative. And again, we go over 1, up 1, down 1. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so let's pause the video and let's see what we get for the next one. All right, so your answer for C here should be y equals 2 times the quantity x plus 3, then minus 2. Okay, so this one should be y equals negative 2x minus 1 quantity squared plus 7. Yes, okay. If you have any questions, please let me know, and you can check the answers to the other 2 graphs when we meet again. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll talk to you again real soon.